back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. This episode is a follow-on with Adrienne Baumann, who is an expert in things internet, websites, and social media participation, email marketing, and the rest. And so we think this is vital to small business. Vital. There's hardly anything more important than being participating effectively on the internet today. Thank you very much. You can't ignore it anymore. You've got to be with it, and if you're in business or thinking of starting a business, and so forth. Anyway, Fox Robbins Business Show. I'm the co-host, Bill Fox, and the other co-host is the luminescent, the multifarious, perceptive, and perspicacious Coach Robbins.
Perspicacious.
Wow.
Huh? I am? I use deodorant. What do you mean perspicacious?
Coach is in touch. I mean, every day when he hops out of the sack, he's headed for talking to a small business, talking about small business, attending meetings regarding small business, putting on classes himself, teaching or giving a talk and so forth. So he's into it, and he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening with small business, from day to day. So,
I just did go over the 2,800 client mark.
Very nice.
2,800, you believe that?
That's pretty good because I'm so much younger than you. A year, I think.
Well, that's, the people, you never know from day to day whom the coach is going to be speaking to. It might be someone just simply with an idea.
Right.
It might be somebody who has said, okay, I'm starting today and I'm starting up a business, but I don't know where to go, which fork in the road to take. Or someone who has started a business, it's up and running, yes, but it needs help. That business needs help, further help and direction. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it wants to grow, maybe it wants to buy its competitor, maybe it wants to go into export, business, whatever the case might be.
Business with the government.
Business with the government.
They spend a lot of money,
Anyway.
Your money.
Didn't they spend $4 billion on a website?
Yeah, and, my money.
And please meet Adrienne Baumann, because she's highly, also highly knowledgeable and experienced, with the small business community. So this is a great chance to get the best thoughts on the table.
You're so kind.
We went through the first episode and talking about content. We're especially talking about social media participation.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't focusing on the whole website issue, but we're talking about the social media, which can help feed the website, the effectivity of your website.
Sure.
But and we were talking about a thing called content marketing. Your message. What is it? When is it? Where is it? Whom is it going to? And everything else. So content marketing. So we're going to move on, continue on from the first episode to this one, and we're going to talk to you again about the different tools and approaches that you can take, Adrienne. Email, marketing, blogging, social media. Can you comment on these?
Well, again, these are ways to get your message out there. So tools for content marketing, vehicles. Again, email marketing still being the #1 way to reach the largest audience, because everybody has email, everybody checks it multiple times a day. Sometimes people have it on their phone right next to their bed. You're using your smartphone for your alarm clock. You wake up, turn off the alarm clock, check email.
Right.
Or take a selfie. Depends on your lifestyle. I don't know. I don't follow you on Instagram, but I will now to see your wake-up selfies.
You never know.
So email marketing, and then some other ways, blogging, social media. Of course, all the different networks are ways of getting your message out there.
Right.
What we refer to as fringe social media, meaning like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Those are the, let's say, mainstream media, and some of the fringe are the not as used, like Snapchat, somewhat of Instagram, some of these other
although Instagram's coming on strongly with the younger audience, right? Yeah.
So that's the fringe.
These different social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Each one will have a demographic.
For sure, yes.
Younger people, middle-aged people, older people, male, female, other demographic fact, they're not all born equal,
That is very true, and they all change over time.
and they change.
So if I do more Instagram, I can get younger?
I'm trying that. It hasn't worked for me,
Well,
but
give it a shot. I'll try
right.
anything.
I know. I've tried. Yes, I need to find the
Found a use?
Benjamin Button app.
Oh, yeah, the Benjamin Button app, right.
You're going to create
Give
that.
me a call, let me know.
Yes, let's find it. We're going to develop that.
Tell us, you've got a slide here called user-generated content examples. Could you tell us
Correct.
about that, please?
Well, that's what people are saying about you. So you can create all your wonderful content and put it out there, but folks are going to also be sharing their opinions of you in
Absolutely.
the form of reviews. Particularly, you had mentioned Yelp and TripAdvisor, those
Right.
things. People are going to share their experience with your brand, with your product, with your
Right.
service, whatever it happens to be. They're going to share your content, social sharing.
Hopefully.
There's the huge impact of social influence, right? So if I'm casual Facebook user, I have a core group of my close friends and family.
Right.
If one or two of them are sharing some product or some service or something of interest,
Right.
then that's going to influence me. You might even notice on Facebook, you'll see some suggested posts where people are paying to have their posts put in front of you.
Right.
And then it'll say, we want you to like our page, and look, your friends already
All
like
like
this
it, yeah.
page, so
What's
come
wrong
on in,
with you?
right? So that's a part of the social influence.
Right.
So if people are sharing your content, that's almost better for you than you putting your content directly in front of me.
Absolutely, because
Word of mouth.
they're out there repeating. They're your salespeople. right?
Exactly. Brand evangelists, you hear
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
term a
I
lot.
love that term, yeah.
So that's user-generated content. You can have, if you have a blog or you invite a guest blogger to post to
Mm-hmm.
your blog, or to have contests, giveaways. Those are the kind where it might be a photo contest, where if it's a particular, say it's a t-shirt brand, and they're like, take a picture of you in our t-shirt, or share pictures of yourself at our venue, whatever it is, using hashtags to label it and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So again, people are promoting your brand
Right.
that way.
From
here
the
they are.
consumer standpoint, ways to communicate, this is we're gonna, when we get you to comment, we're gonna get you to refocus on all these different alleyways that you can go down.
Right.
You're a small business owner, there are these different locations or venues or, for you to show up. I think one of the things I wanted you to talk about is you don't want to do you absolutely don't want to do it all at once. You commented on the
You
previous
can't.
episode
There's
as
not
you
enough
say,
time.
"Oh goody, I'm going to jump on all of these," and you soon learn that that's a big mistake
It's almost
and
worse.
drop off. It's worse than to start small and grow. Maybe.
Yes, I agree. If you jumped on all of these networks, now these are from a consumer standpoint. You don't get to choose where I'm going to engage with your content. I'm going to choose where I'm going to engage with your content.
Right.
So if I want your email, I'm going to opt into it. If I want to follow you on Facebook, I'll follow you on
follow you.
Facebook. If I love Instagram and you're not on Instagram, okay. But if you're on Instagram for the sake of being there, and that's kind of what you were alluding to. So you're a small business, you need to be on all these social platforms, and you set up all these accounts, and then you're not using them. Then
And
as
they
the
did.
consumer,
Right.
I maybe come across you and say, okay, I went to this wonderful restaurant, and I want to see, I'm going to share on Instagram. Are they on there? Oh, yeah, they're on here. Oh, they haven't posted anything since April of 2015.
Yeah.
Well, now that's worse than you not being there.
That's right.
Because you're there and you're not participating.
Right.
Right. So
There's no
if
engagement.
you know that you're not going to be able to maintain an account continuously and actively, don't even get there
Don't
yet.
do it. Don't do it.
Think about that. You start it,
Yeah.
you go on to Facebook is highly popular, you on Facebook. You don't just sign up for your account and let it go there, let it go at that.
Right.
You have signed up for a maintenance issue.
Correct.
Or, ongoing maintenance.
Continuous.
Don't fail to understand that. I mean, it's like buying a car. You just bought, you got to keep gas in the car and oil.
Yeah, change
and keep
the
it
oil.
clean and change the oil and
Check your
repair
fluids.
what you signed up to for that car to take you from point A to point B, but you also signed up for ongoing maintenance to keep that
Correct.
machine working for you.
Otherwise, it's not going to work for you.
It'll die.
And that's what people will say. I'll take it back to the dealer and say, this car is a lemon. It's not working. Well, you haven't changed the oil, and you haven't rotated the tires.
And you're out of gas.
And you're out of gas.
That's why we had to tow it in.
Do not
Yes.
bite off more than you can chew. That's a simple
That's
lesson.
correct.
when I fly my airplane, I'm very, very concerned about running out of gas.
Exactly. And that's why I fill my yacht, and then I have my spare yacht just to have the extra tank.
You can
Yeah.
always siphon some off.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I always
yeah.
bring a second yacht on my
But, you know, if you
cruises.
run out of gas in a yacht, it's not as bad as if you run out of gas in an airplane.
Yeah,
It can
but
get
I
ugly.
don't.
Yeah.
Wars.
I can't
No.
fly.
On this slide,
Yes.
this must be very important to you because you put know your customer, exclamation point, exclamation, exclamation.
Yes, 3 of them. That's excessive.
Talk to us about this. What's your thinking
Well,
here?
first of all, I never recommend excessive punctuation, especially in email, because that is a huge spam trigger. So let's not focus on the exclamation
Right,
marks.
right.
But knowing your customers, yes, or your future customers, is going to determine where you're going to market, which platform you're going to choose, where you're going to spend that time and that maintenance. I do want to just make a side note. We talk about Facebook a lot as the example because everybody's using Facebook. I shouldn't say everybody, most everybody's using Facebook. The very important thing, if you have a business page on Facebook and you're generating content, you need to actively engage with other people's content as well. So your page needs to like other pages, consume their content, engage with others' content, and participate in the conversation. If it's one way only,
No good.
that's going to
That's
set a
not
tone as
engagement.
well.
That's not iterative.
Side
Right.
note, important thing, if you're just taking the time to post a few bits and pieces of content and then you're not going back and actually engaging with others, you're going to see a significant drop in your engagement. Okay, on that note, going back to knowing your customers, yes, where are they? Online, where are they spending their time? How are you going to get your message in front of them? And we're going to talk about the data. So let's advance into that and find out how are you going to find that out.
That's right.
And a lot of it's going to come back to, of course, your website, but you want to use your digital marketing to gather that information. So any place you can get a touch point with your customers online is going to give you some of that demographic.
Right.
So if you're using, obviously you have a website, you're going to have some kind of analytic tool attached to that, whether
Yep.
it's Google Analytics or something else that you
Right.
use. That's one way to at least set the foundation to see, okay, who's visiting my website? So I'm the director of marketing for the Cape Cod Children's Museum. I know our demographic is going to skew mostly to women over men, my moms between ages
Right.
of 24 and 54.
Right.
So if I'm looking at my website and that doesn't match what I think should be our target demo, I need to adjust.
That's right.
Same thing when I'm looking at my
Adjust your
Facebook
thinking
insights.
and your activities,
And
right.
So any place that you're gathering intel, to use that term. So
Yeah.
if somebody signs up, we're going to opt into your email. Okay, you're going to ask me for a little bit of information, right? Probably my name,
Yeah, that'd be
my
nice.
email address, minimum.
Yeah.
But you don't want to ask for too much stuff because you
You're
don't want to
prying
be
then,
feeling
yeah.
like you're. But
Yeah.
you can send out surveys here and there and gather that information. But you're going to get a lot of that from your analytics from your website. And Google Analytics will tell you what type of device your viewers are using. Is it a mobile device? Is it a desktop? They'll even tell you what kind of platform. What are they on Verizon? Are they on AT&T? Is it iOS? Is it Android? So if you're developing an app and you see, okay, 80% of the visitors to my page are on iOS, then I'm going to start with an iOS app versus the other way around. So that's all those data points that you need to understand, to build that picture, to know, okay, what do I need to do to make sure my content is going to fit the needs and the places where people are going to find it and consume it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Customer relationship management.
Exactly.
That's what
but
it's all
even
about.
more so.
15 years ago,
Data,
before I
data,
took
data.
this job with in Massachusetts Small Business Development, I wrote a business plan for Cape Cod economic development for a potential business on Cape Cod, and Ted Kennedy was behind it and everything. One of the people on the board said, "What are you talking about, this internet marketing, and what are you talking about customer relationship management? bunch of professor stuff." I said, "It's not pedantic, it's where the world's going." He's out of business, by the way.
Interesting.
Didn't pay attention to it then. If you don't pay attention to it now, 15 years
True.
later, you're not in the game. You're not in the game.
Not everybody loves data. Not everybody are those
Big data.
but
Yeah.
it's important. And
That's where you get your information from. It's not all of it, but you're going to find nuggets of gold in
exactly.
there.
And
Right.
the more nuggets you can collect,
Right. The better off you are.
exactly. So ways to collect it, and we were talking about, how is your message going to stand out? So,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, you already had a slide on it.
well, when we
But how
go
are
back
you gonna, I want to be first, out front.
Yeah.
I want to be seen.
yeah,
You got to rise above the clutter.
exactly. It's noise, noise, noise.
Right.
Right. We showed that slide with all those different
Yeah.
icons, and that's just a small portion of how many places there are online for
Right.
people to find and consume your content. So if you want to stand out, so you've already identified your audience, right, your target audience, and where they most likely will be on social networks based on the demographic of each platform, then how is your message going to stand out? Well, what's the culture of that platform?
Right.
So for Facebook, we already determined that it's pretty casual there. People
Yeah.
aren't going there to necessarily be educated and get into some big heady stuff.
No.
Where their popular content is, funny, the cat videos, humorous things that are
Right.
just going to be funny and engageable and
Right.
shareable.
Yep.
So if that's going to be relevant to that culture, that's the kind of content is going to work.
Right.
And it's going to be relatable. I mentioned that I'm at the Children's Museum, the Cape Cod Children's Museum. So I share content on our Facebook page that is just, parenting humor or parenting issues,
Sure.
other articles that relate to that.
That's your target.
That's relatable to our audience, right? So
Right.
80% of that content needs to be something that's like, I understand you, we're here,
Right.
we get it. Oh, and by the way, here's a new program we
Additionally,
have.
right, this is something new that's coming out, right.
Correct, but
then
it's
you can
really
communicate something to them.
right. So we had alluded to the pain point. It's like, what is it that you have or that that I need to know or
Right.
would like to have that we can meet in the middle here?
Right.
And where are we going to meet? Oh, we're going to meet on Facebook. And then keeping it relaxed, I think, is just the idea of you're not coming at me, selling at me.
Don't sell.
Nobody wants
Nobody wants
that.
to be sold
So
anything.
don't
need the pressure.
technical jargon.
Right.
Don't use all those
Right.
crazy buzzwords, synergy and dynamic and blah, blah, blah. That's great that you know those words. You have a phenomenal vocabulary. I love you for that. But,
I made it all up.
right, flibberty, flabberty, flurb.
Yeah.
Those are all good words. But when you're, again, creating your content, you don't want to say, we have the highest satisfaction rate for the blah, blah, blah. Just say, hey, people love us, and here's
Yeah.
why.
They think we're cool.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
You're way cool.
Right.
One thing I wanted to bring into this conversation about small business is a point not to be ignored, that you have a business. I'm going to pick I'm just trying to grab an example. You have a restaurant. You want people to come in, sit down, and order and consume your menu. But on this internet, this social media stuff, let people see what's going on in the kitchen.
Yes.
Right.
This social media thing, people are curious. People want to have humor. They want to learn something. There's emotions and thinking that out there. I mean, I don't want to get carried away with this, but if you have that restaurant, let people see what's happening in the kitchen. Don't ignore that.
Very
Let
true.
people go through those swing doors
Sure.
and see what
Yeah.
meet
Well,
the chef.
That's why today you'll
Yeah.
notice a lot of the newer restaurants, you can look right into the kitchen.
Yeah,
quite
watch
frankly.
them prepare
There
your
are the
food.
chefs cleaning and throwing the pizza in the
But
oven.
show people not only what you do, but how you go about it. Perhaps.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm scratching here, but I mean.
No, you're
I know-
absolutely right. And
Yeah.
I say the same thing. It's like peel back the curtain, let people behind the scenes a little bit. And that's,
Exactly.
again, being that relatable,
casual.
relaxed, okay, buzzword, transparency.
Yeah.
Huge word, but it's very, very relevant.
Right.
So being transparent is like, we're not going to hold all of our cards to our chest until you come in the door, then we'll share a little bit with you. And
Right.
that kind of push
Yeah.
and pull process. Let people know everything.
Yep.
And that's okay. I saw a
Right.
great piece. It was a really good example. I think it was Amazon had created it, and it was just an image that they posted of 2:30 in the morning, stacks and stacks and stacks of boxes. And it was
ready
like,
to
hey,
go.
you know, here's what we're doing for you while you're sleeping.
We're busy.
Or maybe it was UPS, I'm not sure, but it was something like that that's just showing, hey, there was another one, a farmer's market. Again, crack of dawn, you know, 4:30 in the morning, they're posting, here's crates and crates of our vegetables ready to
Just
come
coming
to you.
in right off the
Right,
farm.
we just picked it. So that's the kind of stuff you're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
And that works for any type of industry, even if
Right.
it's something that's not a physical, tangible thing.
That's what you, lift the curtain, you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lift the curtain.
That's
Yep.
okay. You
Good.
don't have to be, you know,
Come on
Oz.
in,
Don't be
invite 'em in.
Oz. Be the man behind the curtain.
I want to turn your attention to what's called analytics, or whatever, that's a big
Love it.
word.
I love analytics.
But what is one of your questions on that you provided us with is what is real-time data? Can you explain that?
That is some particular platforms or even some of your web analytics. You can see what's happening right now. So for instance, Yelp, you had mentioned Yelp as
Right.
a customer review tool.
Yep.
If I have a Yelp account as a business, I can see what's happening when I
Right
look at
now.
my business account, look at the business app, and I can see, oh, somebody from Syracuse, New York just clicked on my website to check our
Right.
time. Things like that is real-time data.
Did either of you see Spaceballs?
Yes,
This is now.
this is now. That's
You
right.
didn't see it, did you?
No.
Oh.
See?
I'm blank on that one.
Oh, God. Doesn't watch any of the classics.
He doesn't have the Schwartz. I love that.
See Spaceballs.
So
folks.
real-time data, and then the and data gathering. What did you mean by that?
Well, that's a little bit of what we spoke about a few moments ago, is understanding who is visiting, say, your website, who using the Google Analytics of your website, using your Facebook Insights, all the tools provided by the social networks, if they have them. If they don't, there are third-party tools that you can use that will analyze that for you to know who's the demographic user of a particular platform. Is that your audience, and
Right.
what portion of that is actually engaging with you on that platform?
And are you targeting
And
the
is
right
that the
group?
right audience?
Yeah.
Right?
Back in the old print media days, you never got that.
Right. And that's what makes it so much more valuable now, is we can get that, right? For print media, you would have your sales representative from the publication would
Right.
say, okay, here's where our distribution is, and here's the little bit of the demographic.
Right.
And that's still relevant. Print
Yep.
media is still very effective and works in certain ways.
Right.
So I would never say give up on print or any other traditional media. Radio is huge.
It isn't
magazines, all of
either
that.
or.
It's
both.
all. That
It's
is
all.
correct.
Right.
Absolutely. But it's digitally, you're able to gather more of that data
Quicker.
specifically to you, right?
Right.
So as you said, if you put an ad in, you know, the Cliff Robbins Journal that comes out monthly, right? So I put an ad in that.
We need one of those.
You do.
Oh, sounds
right?
good. I like
but
that.
how do I know that it's working? Well, it would either have to have had a call to action, you know, here's a
Right,
coupon.
that's the one way.
Or,
Yeah.
some,
You
or
don't-
some way to measure. Many businesses, it's a very good practice to always ask, how'd you hear about us?
Absolutely. Anytime I take in a
Right.
new client, one of the questions how did you hear about me?
Right.
Yeah, it's
And a lot of
we
times
call
now,
it the incidence rate.
yeah, but
That's
people
what-
sometimes don't even remember.
Yeah,
We'll get an
right.
answer like that. Oh, how'd you find out about us? Oh, on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which part? Yeah. Oh,
Well, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I think I
Well,
might.
I
don't know.
Googled such and such,
Right.
and you came up
Did
first.
you Google it?
Oh,
Did a friend
cool.
mention it? Did you? You know,
Yeah.
there's so much
I
that
saw
we're
you
seeing.
on Facebook, or yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you've got three data gathering tips for us, which are internet overflowing with consumer data, which you're
It is.
now talking about.
Correct.
Target niche, so-called niche.
Well, niche is so much classier.
Niche sounds fancy. We're
You say
fancy.
French accent to it, huh?
Niche. It is a niche market. You need to
Yeah.
take.
Oui.
You want to advance. You
Très
get a
bien.
niche.
But the niche audiences, targeted advertising tools,
Correct.
and increase your campaign, so-called campaign results.
Campaign meaning if you're sending out an email, we don't use the word blast, but I still hear it out in the world.
Yeah.
But an email campaign,
Right.
because it's targeted, it's specific, it's to an opted-in audience.
Opt-in.
Yeah.
Whereas that
Permission
print
marketing.
thing that you would put in, okay, even that's not a blanket, because you know the distribution of that print media in particular, so it's not blast. But knowing that who your audience is, where your niche, so to speak,
Right.
is focusing on that particular, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here, but that particular tool that's going to get you in front of that particular audience that you
Right.
can really focus it and measure the response back. So I can get that data back digitally instead of having to wait for the coupon to be redeemed or to wait for somebody to actually call and say, how did you hear about us? Oh, it was the ad.
Right.
So you might say, okay, I spent X thousands of dollars to put this ad in the Cliff Robbins Journal,
Right.
and I've
What was
only
my
had
return?
2 people tell me that they saw it there. That doesn't mean only 2 people saw it,
No,
whereas I don't know who else saw it.
right.
It could be in the bottom of somebody's bird cage, or they may have put it up on their bulletin board. I don't know.
Right.
But with your digital content, you
And
can
you want to know.
Did they click
Right.
it? That's where we talked about earlier, having that call to action.
And you've got another, following on the data gathering tips, you've got here targeted campaign and retargeted display ads. What do you mean by that?
A targeted campaign, say you're buying an ad on Facebook or Google or whatever it is, you can narrow it down and say,
Yeah.
okay, I want this target to reach women between this age and that age
Yep.
that live within this geographic distance.
Right.
A retargeted display is something like when you see, you've been Googling ties,
Yeah.
and then you're on Facebook and then you see these ads for a tie that come up.
Right.
Or I've been on your website, I got as far as the shopping cart, and then I left your website, and now I'm seeing an ad from you based
Popping up.
on where I left off.
Programmatic
So
media buying.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's what those things are.
Right.
But if somebody's already interested, you know they're interested, now you're coming back and giving them that, hey, don't forget, you were interested in this.
It's 1984 already.
1980, somebody's looking at you.
George Orwell was right.
He was right, which is scary. So that's what that is.
Yep.
Okay. Adrienne, thank you very much. We've got to wrap up this episode.
Yep.
There's so much good information here that I hate to say goodbye.
Me too.
Anyway, we've got to wrap up this episode. Thank
Okay.
you guys for joining us, and Adrienne Baumann and the coach. And feel free to communicate back with us. FoxRobins@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook.
Yes, we are.
You want to comment on Facebook?
And
Please
YouTube.
feel free.
We're on YouTube.
YouTube. The shows are being posted to YouTube, so
We're getting
feel
up to
free to watch
speed.
the shows at your convenience. And thank you for being with us, and we will see you guys next time.